Well, if you love vampires, let's take a look at a creature who by day disguises itself as human, but at night takes on a monstrous form. This is the werehyena. The werehyenas of Africa have two separate lores that date back to the time of creation, and another more recent one that is rooted in a little bit of bias and racism. Now, a werehyena in human form usually has an unnaturally hairy body or a nasally voice. But in the regions of Sudan, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Morocco, and others, certain groups were accused of having magical abilities that had the power of the evil eye, and they were called the Buddha. The Buddha were thought to control animals, whether intentionally or unintentionally, cause illness, and shapeshift into hyenas. The Buddha or werehyenas were often associated with people in trades like metalworking, weaving, and pottery. It's said they had evil powers that were passed down from generation to generation through the family line. The Buddha were also described as a landless people, and the group of people who most closely resembled these traits of landless people were the Ethiopian Jews. Commonly referred to as the Ayud or the Falasha, this meant exiles or those who practice magic, all which are considered derogatory. So, how were they titled with becoming the werehyenas? Well, in the late 15th and 16th centuries, they were at the height of their power. They had ultimate masonry and architecture skills that became widely sought after. This allowed them to move up the social ladder very quickly, and they had architecture that actually rivaled the masters of Europe. They were also members of the Imperial Ethiopian Army with awards and skills that led them to being gifted land on a regular basis. But in 1769, the Ethiopian Emperor Ayasis was assassinated, causing chaos, and many of the marginalized groups, including the Ethiopian Jews, were outcast, not only from their lands, but also the trades that they made popular. This caused them to have to develop new skills such as smithery and pottery, which caused the Christians who were now taking over the land to look at them kind of suspect. During this time, many believed that any trades or anyone who heavily involved the use of fire was said to practice magic, and they were labeled as wicked. And as you know, blacksmithing and pottery both involved the use of fire. This caused rumors to be spread about the group, with many Christians claiming that the Ethiopian Jews had supernatural powers. Metal workers quickly became heavily associated with spellcraft, and due to the fact that they were now a landless people and constantly needed to move around, they quickly became tagged with being werehyena. It was also claimed by many of the Christians in Ethiopia that these Ethiopian Jews descended from the line of the Jewish blacksmith who crafted the nails that crucified Jesus, which is how they ended up also being ostracized. Now, the second story in the folklore of the werehyena comes from the Amara tradition, which dates back to creation. And this story simply says that Eve was the mother of 30 children. And one day, God asked her to show him to them. Suspicious of this and his intentions, she hid 15 of them. Upset at her disobedience, God cursed her children to become the Buddha or the werehyena as punishment.